Hi, Steve. My name's NES3, and this is RTVF 141 Slingbox Pitches. The theme for mine is called Favorites, and in Favorites we have two main characters. The first character, his name is Jim. He's your average college student. He loves sports, particularly football. Second character, his name's Steve. He happens to be a football player for Jim's favorite team, which happens to be the 49ers, because we are in the Bay Area. Alright, so the commercial starts off with Steve sitting on his chair, his recliner. He's watching the newest game. It's just started, and he's really into it. You can see 49er posters and flags. He has a foam finger on his hand. He's cheering them on, and he's like, wait, the game just started, but I have class. He realizes he has class, so he checks his watch. He gets up and leaves. Right in the middle of all this action during the game, we see Steve, who notices that Jim just left, and he's disappointed because no one's there to watch him anymore. So he throws up his hands, and he's like, man, he's sad because his favorite viewer's not there anymore. So the next shot, we cut to Jim. He has a Slingbox, and he decides he wants to install it right before class starts. So he goes ahead and installs it to this TV, goes on his computer, and he starts installing the program on there. And right as it's about to finish, class is about to start in like 10 minutes, and he needs to run out of there. So he grabs his bag, and before he can see that it actually is installed on his phone and on his laptop, he leaves. We cut back to Steve, who's still on the TV. He has his hand up on the screen. He's like wanting to chase after Jim, but he can't because he's stuck in the TV. All of a sudden, he realizes something's different in the room. Something off to the right, it's glowing. He doesn't know what it is. When he looks over there, he gets sucked into the Slingbox, and he's slung off into TV land. And so next we see Jim. He's walking around. He's walking to campus. He passes a TV repair shop. And as he's passing by, Steve all of a sudden is slung into the TVs in there, and he's like looking around. He wonders where he's at because he's not on the football field anymore. But as he's looking around, he sees Jim. He's walking by, and he's trying to get his attention. He's jumping up and down, but Jim's already walked by, and he's like, crap. And so he runs off of the screen trying to chase after him. And now Jim is on campus. He's walking to class, and he's walking by someone who's sitting on a bench working on his laptop. So as he's walking by, all of a sudden Steve, he runs into the screen, and he's looking around trying to see if Jim is around. And the guy who's working on the laptop, he's like, holy crap, what the heck's going on? All of his work is gone, and there's this football player on his laptop, so he's banging it. And Steve's in the laptop. He's like disoriented. He's like moving around. And since he can't find Jim, he already walked away. He runs off again. And then we go into the classroom where Jim is like sitting there. He's kind of bored. He's wondering what's going on in the game, what he's missing, what the score is. And as he's walking out of class, his phone rings. And when he picks up, we see that Steve has been slung into his phone, and the game is resuming where it was when he left. So he drops his bag, he sits down in the hallway, and he continues watching the game. And that's when the screen fades to black, and the words, because your favorite athletes have their favorite fans. And we'll cut to the Slingbox logo.
Cool. All right. Okay, cool. So I think there's a couple things. There are. It's on me now. So I think there are some things that we're taking some liberties with. In other words, you have to be running the Slingbox software in order to be able to do all this kind of stuff. And I think the point of this is that's not the point, right? Right? I mean, we send them on the TV, which is actually the Sling catcher. We send them on the laptop, on the mobile phone, even though there's other people that don't have the software. That's not the point, right? I think this is not a technology how-to demonstration. This is the whole concept of take your program TV with you everywhere. I think it connects really well with the whole sports thing. I think the whole idea of like all the players going, oh, you had to go to class again? What are we going to do? I don't know. You want to go get a beer? Whatever. And they all do things. I think like that's really fun. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it. This whole idea of being able to take your favorite show with you is great, and the whole idea of your favorite show having your favorite people too, I think has a lot of legs. You could apply it to anything that's important for people, right? Yeah. Like their sports, their favorite TV shows, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Your favorite characters have your favorite players. So I think that's got a lot of legs in terms of extensibility. How could this be used in a print ad, in a all kinds of different things in a TV, print, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of flexibility in that connection, that there's a reciprocal relationship there, which is kind of funny, right? That they actually have choices and like you too. So I think it's really cool. So in terms of production cost, you've got a couple different locations. You've got the and I'm assuming a lot of this is like After Effects and things that like you're just kind of shooting, and then you go in later
green
and kind of
screening,
green screening, do like
a lot of
that
the stuff is
in.
like actually on campus or maybe even like a dorm room.
Perfect.
And
Great.
I actually shot like a mock-up commercial, and instead of a TV repair shop, I was walking by, and the event center actually has this big old animated billboard.
Sweet.
And I used that because I used that to like sling the football player as I walk by.
We'll ask Michelle and find out if that's too far, because it's not a TV then.
Yeah.
Is that like too far? And we'll ask them that. Because it's in that keeping of them following it. So, and in terms of like actors, right? You don't have a lot of actors. You've got the Steve, you've got Jim, you've got the couple sitting, the people sitting on the bench, other people, kind of some random stuff like that. Is that people in the class? Is that you're going to hire talent for the main people, or
or even in the theater department, there's people willing to be extras.
Cool. Is there a do you have a low end and a high end? High end being, let's say that Slingbox said, this is so cool, we want to be able to use it in trade shows. We want to shoot this for higher end. We want to be able to reuse it in other kinds of marketing type things, versus a web only, lower res, higher compression rate type deal. Do you have like, do you know what that is?
I was thinking for like higher end, it was like around $1,800, including like the whole crew. I was paying the crew on a scale, and the extras and the props and the equipment rental, because that's where
football uniforms, stuff like that, like
football helmets and stuff. That's a lot of the cost is going to come from like those football helmets and the equipment. So I was thinking around $1,800 for that, and the low end, if we were to borrow everything from the school or get people to work for us for free, it was going to be like around $350.
Okay, so somewhere in there, depending on
the quality,
on the kludge to the high end, and kind of how much they want to be able to do it. Okay, because I think part of, just for the record, I have no idea what kind of budget. I actually think that the folks at Sling don't know either. This is something that's really new for them too, right? It's all new for all of us. So I think they're going to look at this and say, okay, what's the bang for the buck? Do they want to be able to do 2 videos and make them really good? Do they like 5 videos and let you guys want to make all 5 and spread it around more like a peanut butter knife? Smooth it all over one big giant piece of toast? Or heap it up into one big giant peanut butter and cracker? I don't know if that analogy kind of broke down at some point, but I think you get my point. Cool. Thank you very much. NES3? Is that NES3. All right, cool. Excellent. Good. Thank you.
And NES3's got a
spin you around.
He's got a pretty nice. They all have put together pretty nice proposals.
So if you guys give those to me, I will FedEx them.